What's up everyone, and welcome back to the Bold and the Beautiful 24 official channel. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button today. Let's get started. Katie is devastated by Will's broken heart. While Sheila Sharp teaches Lee Finnegan a lesson in loyalty, the Bold and the Beautiful suggests that Katie Logan will be afraid of Will Spencer's damaged heart. Sheila, who seemed to be a little proud of Luna for really carrying out her baby plan, will be accused by Lee at Il Giardino. Although Sheila doesn't exactly support Luna's actions, she must admit that she is rather pleased by her granddaughter's inventiveness. In any case, Sheila will not be cheering for Luna to return to prison. Sheila will be happy to hear that Luna is expecting a Spencer heir, which could keep her out of jail. Lee will accuse Sheila of enabling their granddaughter's terrible behavior and being a member of Team Luna. Sheila might counter that all she wants is for Luna and the infant to be secure outside of prison. Here, Sheila will demonstrate some familial devotion, and Lee could feel compelled to follow suit, but Lee will still be horrified by what Luna did. Hope Logan will brief Katie about her recent pleasant chat with Electra Forrester, who is smitten with Will and may end up living with him permanently. Katie will worry that everything is going to fall apart as Hope babbles about Electra's dedication and the love she deserves. Katie is worried that Will be left heartbroken and alone because he is going to give Electra some Luna shockers. Will's weird vibes will make Electra question what's wrong at one of the ghost houses in Forrester. Maybe Electra will reassure Will that they are a strong pair and that they will overcome whatever is causing him to feel anxious. Will's whole disclosure is scheduled for Tuesday, according to BNB, but it's likely that this confession will start by the conclusion of Monday's emotional program. When Will acknowledges that Luna is alive and that she was in his bed, Electra's eyes can enlarge in surprise. The Beautiful and the Bold say Electra will find it difficult to comprehend all of this, especially the news of the baby, even though Will hurriedly try to explain everything while intoxicated. As the Bold and the Beautiful depicted these weeks, Katie Logan found herself looking into the ruins of her son's delicate heart, which was already broken by secrets, lies, and the eerie shadow of Luna Nozawa's manipulations. Katie Logan had always taken pride in being the one person who could keep Bill grounded and their son Will Spencer safe in a world that was constantly revolving around betrayals, power struggles, and generational rivalries. In the meantime, across town at Il Giardino, Katie felt the weight of a mother's dread settle in her chest like a stone, even though she was clutching her phone in her living room after Hope Logan's well-meaning but reckless babbling about Electra Forrester's devotion. This heartbreak seemed to go beyond anything a young Spencer heir should have to go through. She knew deep down that her boy's budding romance with Electra could be reduced to ashes when the truth about Luna's survival, her pregnancy, and her entrapment of Will spilled out. Sheila Carter Sharp smirked over her espresso as Lee Finnegan confronted her, hissing accusations about enabling and loyalty. She was angry that Sheila could find even a semblance of pride in Luna's dangerous ingenuity, pride that was sickening when the girl's twisted baby scheme had left Will reeling in confusion. However, Sheila, ever the master manipulator, countered with a facade of grandmotherly devotion, claiming that she only wanted Luna and the unborn child safe from prison walls. Sheila invoked the sanctity of family in a way that nearly caused Lee to falter, even though Lee's disgust was still rooted in the blood she carried and the morality Sheila would never understand. A negotiating chip and a living defense against additional punishment, a turn of events she would never publicly reveal to Deacon Sharp, who was already uneasy in his marriage and stumbling toward Taylor Hayes' therapy couch for comfort. As all of this was going on, Hope cheerfully relayed to Katie her conversation with Electra, discussing the young woman's dazzling loyalty and growing feelings for Will, as well as her belief that she and Will could create something lasting. However, Katie heard every word and felt the exact opposite of reassurance, as she was aware of how soap opera shockers always cut through NS like knives, and her heart tightened with the foretelling knowledge that Will's confession, planned by the writers to appear in Tuesday's episode, would ruin Electra's faith because when Will sat down with her at the Forrester guest house, his nerves already raw from weeks of avoiding eye contact and fumbling explanations, Electra's gentle assurances that they were strong together would crumble beneath his admission that Luna was alive, that she had been in his bed the night of the party, and that the baby everyone whispered about might be his. Will would rush to explain, blaming masks, alcohol, and deceit, but Electra's face would turn pale, her eyes would widen in horror, and her mind would be racing to reconcile the man she loved with the web of betrayal he now exposed. And Katie, who discovered this fallout via the frantic phone calls of Hope and Donna Logan, would be devastated, clutching herself as if she could physically hold together her son's breaking heart, her voice trembling as she whispered that Will was too young to handle this kind of destruction, too innocent to have his trust so severely broken, but the Logan matriarchal instinct in her also made her angry, angry at Luna for using motherhood as a weapon, angry at Sheila for cheering from the sidelines, angry at Bill for failing to put an end to this when he had the opportunity, because, in Katie's mind, as Katie sat alone later that night, replaying her sister Brooke's words about Ridge and Taylor moving on, she realized with painful clarity that even though love triangles had been a Forrester Logan pastime for decades, it was different when your child was bleeding from the fallout. She vowed, through tears, that she would protect Will's spirit, even if it meant going head-to-head with Sheila Carter, Lee Finnegan, and even Bill Spencer himself. After all, every adult had failed her son, and now she would have to pick up the shards of his broken love life, comfort Elektra if the girl chose to walk away, or rally her if she chose to fight for Will despite the deception. As the credits rolled on this tumultuous chapter, Katie's destruction radiated like a warning. Will Spencer's broken heart might just ignite the next generation's toughest battle. This was because no Logan heart was ever throwaway, especially not her son's. As The Bold and the Beautiful depicts these weeks, Katie Logan found herself peering into the ruins of her son's delicate heart, which had already been destroyed by secrets, deceit, and the ominous shadow of Luna Nozawa's machinations. Katie Logan had always taken satisfaction in being the only person who could keep Bill and their son Will Spencer safe in a world rife with betrayals, power battles, and generational rivalries. Meanwhile, across town at Il Giardino, Katie felt the weight of a mother's fear descend in her chest like a stone, despite the fact that she was gripping her phone in her living room following Hope Logan's well-meaning but reckless ranting about Elektra Forrester's dedication. This anguish seemed to be beyond what a young Spencer heir should have to endure. She knew deep down that her boy's growing infatuation with Elektra would be shattered if the truth about Luna's survival, pregnancy, and trapping of Will came out. Sheila Carter Sharp grinned over her latte as Lee Finnegan accosted her with allegations of enabling and loyalty. She was enraged that Sheila could find even a glimmer of joy in Luna's deadly inventiveness, especially since the girl's twisted baby plot had left Will perplexed. Sheila, the great manipulator, responded with a mask of grandmotherly care, claiming that all she wanted was to keep Luna and the unborn child safe from the prison walls. Sheila evoked the sanctity of family in a way that almost led Lee to falter, despite the fact that Lee's contempt was still founded in the blood she bore and the morals Sheila would never grasp. A negotiation chip and a living defense against additional punishment, a development she would never publicly mention to Deacon Sharp, who was already unhappy in his marriage and stumbling toward Taylor Hayes' therapy couch for solace. As all of this was going on, Hope enthusiastically reported to Katie her chat with Elektra, which included the young woman's sparkling loyalty and growing love for Will, as well as her hope that she and Will might create something permanent. However, Katie heard every phrase and felt the exact opposite of reassurance, as she was aware of how soap show shockers usually slashed through Aeneas like daggers, and her heart constricted with the foreboding knowing that Will's confession. Elektra's faith would be shattered when Will sat down with her at the Forrester guest house, his nerves already raw from weeks of avoiding eye contact and fumbling explanations. Elektra's gentle assurances that they were strong together would crumble beneath his admission that Luna was alive, that she had been in his bed the night of the party, and that the baby everyone whispered about might be his. Will would hurry to explain, blaming masks, booze, and deception, but Elektra's face would pale, her eyes would widen in horror, and her mind would race to reconcile the man she loved with the web of betrayal he had just unveiled. Katie discovered this fallout through Hope and Donna Logan's panicked phone calls. She would be devastated, clutching herself as if she could physically hold together her son's breaking heart, her voice trembling as she whispered that Will was too young to handle this kind of destruction, too innocent to have his trust so severely broken, but the Logan matriarchal instinct in her also made her angry at Luna for using motherhood as a weapon, angry at Sheila for cheering from the sidelines, angry at Bill for failing to put an end to this when he had. Katie sat alone later that night, reliving her sister Brooke's words about Ridge and Taylor's breakup, and she realized with heartbreaking clarity that, while love triangles had been a Forrester Logan pastime for decades, it was different when your child was bleeding from the aftermath. She pledged, through tears, that she would safeguard Will's spirit, even if it meant confronting Sheila Carter, Lee Finnegan, and Bill Spencer himself. After all, every adult had failed her son, and now she would have to pick up the pieces of his broken love life, console Elektra if she wanted to go, or encourage her if she chose to fight for Will despite the deception. As the credits rolled on this chaotic chapter, Katie's devastation radiated like a warning. Will Spencer's broken heart may spark the next generation's most difficult battle. This was because no Logan heart was ever discarded, especially her son's.